Welcome back everyone, Meanpooh here, and today we are going to play some Dead Age 2. This is a roguelike, fast-paced, turn-based survival game set in a zombie apocalypse. So let's check our settings. All the usual, 1080, fantastic for the graphics, full screen, volume effects, and that's all that's there. Let's go ahead and start the game. Oh, by the way, we are on 1.0. And you can pick this game up on Steam if you think you might like it for $10.79. Alright, character creation. Jack's Camp. You have 3 medals available for upgrades. Simple clothes and no bonus. Unlock the highest upgrades to be able to choose a faction bonus. There's no random button. So since we're in the apocalypse, we gotta look kind of a little rough around the edges. Oh man. Alright. I'm gonna change his name. So we have factions. So we can't pick any right now. Alright. So we have 3 upgrades. We have melee, ranged combat, medical, and technical. Melee combat gives us a bonus to constitution, ranged, critical hits, bonus to resistance for medical, and bonus to power for technical. I want technical, medical. I'm usually a sniper, but let's go ahead and get some melee because most of the time you're not always going to have a weapon on hand starting out. Normal difficulty. Okay, normal is balance. Though challenging, beware of permanent death. Should you die, you can still purchase upgrades for the next playthrough. Then we have hardcore, only for the pros. And then casuals. Enemies are much weaker. Should you die, you can still purchase upgrades for the next. So let's go ahead and play normal. So we have a talent selection. Requires no ammunition. Well, okay, we know that. Strong against armored targets, less damage than ranged attacks. We have bladed weapons, which require no ammunition, and strong against less armored targets. Blunt. Hunting. Traps weaken melee attackers. Can summon animals. Engineer. Thrown weapons ignore armor and defense. Can deploy turrets. Thrown weapons are weak against targets with high resistance. Grants access to skills useful versus armored targets. Requires large amounts of ammo for some attacks. Let's go with shotgun. Alertness. Increases drop rank of guard and the chance to successfully defend against attacks and burglaries. Biology. Increases drop rank of doctor and unlocks new crafting recipes. Handiwork. Grants access to new crafting recipes for the outfitter and forged jobs and increases the quality of crafted items. Survival. Increases the hunter's job rank automatically, increasing food gathered as well as experience gain. Alright, we're doing survival. 10 years ago, the zombification began. The outbreak resulted in pure chaos and billions of deaths. It was the largest catastrophe ever experienced by humanity. A small group of survivors eventually discovered a cure, and with it came a small measure of relief for the decimated world population. Several factions emerged in the former United States. None of them trusted one another. The largest territory was claimed by the former US Army as they were the best equipped. Smugglers established bases deep in the forest and mountains. The few humane independents attempted to build places of refuge for unaffiliated civilians. But they failed. The undead returned after just a few short years. Hordes swept the world like a plague renewed, washing over the farmland and refugee camps, leaving only ash and rubble in their wake. Country Road. I was getting ready to turn the music down because it's kind of loud. You're a Meanpooh, feeling heavy under intense heat. You cross a country road. You have received a radio message from Jack. He intends to establish a new safe camp for survivors of the recent attacks. Whew. Just once I'd like to get anywhere without running into those damn monsters. Not today, I guess. Alright, and let's go ahead and turn on the analytics. And I'm sure it's running alright. The crippled crawler isn't very quick. Nevertheless, Meanpooh begins to frantically pull at the pockets of his backpack. Weapons and clothing may have up to 3 modifications, depending on quality. Symbols beneath the weapon represent those modifications. To get more information, hover your cursor over the attributes on the left side of the character. Equip the weapons and then return to combat. 33 damage, 45 damage. Let's use this crowbar here. Can I equip this as well? Equipping an item during combat uses an action point. Thankfully, your survivors are quick and have 2 action points. You are able to perform another action. Choose ranged combat. Each weapon type endows its own abilities. Once equipped, your perception increases ranged damage. Attribute values are displayed directly below your character. More information about a skill is displayed at the bottom right. The icons tell you the cost in AP and ammunition required. So this is pretty typical of these turn-based games that, I play a lot. So we're at a range, we're going to use the shotgun. Wow, got an achievement for that, first blood. Defeated enemies may leave loot behind. You find some crafting material and some torn hand wraps. Let's take it all. Here you can see information about lootable items by moving the cursor over them and place them in your inventory individually. Shell casings and hand bandages. Should no individual item be selected, all items will be looted at once. They can be managed or equipped in your inventory. Clothing reduces damage inflicted upon you by physical attacks. A few more undead shuffle about. Your weapon is already equipped, giving you enough time to shoot before the slow-moving zombies reach you. The stats directly below your character have been updated to accurately reflect the defenses increased by your equipped hand wraps. Select the zombie to see the chance to hit and getting a critical hit displayed. A grazing shot only results in half the normal damage, causes no status change effects, and does not increase adrenaline. You may increase your chance to hit by using skills or advancing closer. Damn it, I'm out of ammo. Let's hope this club will be enough. Your opponents are too far away for melee. You could rush forward, but that would exhaust your AP. Use focus and wait for them to come closer. This will award you an addition action point. Thanks to focus, you now have 3 AP. You could attack 3 times. Later, multiple AP can be used to activate more powerful skills. First, you must move closer. Only characters in the front can use melee attacks. Moving forward costs 1 AP. Every simple ranged and melee attack raises a character's adrenaline. You can now execute 2 simple attacks, but your current adrenaline levels allows you to unleash a stronger adrenaline skill, resulting in greater damage output. Remember in the future to raise adrenaline using simple ranged and melee attacks. $48 and is that 37? Got a critical hit. Ouch, that hurt. Critical hits increase outgoing damage by 50%. Your energy is below 30%, making you vulnerable. Be wary, zombies may infect you using special skills, which will also reduce your strength. Defense reduces chance of infection. You have 2 AP left, enough for 2 simple attacks. It's a close one because your vulnerability reduces your damage output. I don't think I'm going to be able to take him out, not in 2. Look out, melee attacks may be blocked, resulting in half of the damage output. The block and critical hit chance of your opponents is displayed to the upper right. The zombie survives your attack and could now infect you. Choose your defensive ability to guard against the infectious attack. Always remember to protect yourself. Once in place, an infection is difficult to get rid of. You can perform 2 attacks again. Can you kill it? Directly below you is a display of the damage you would do. The numbers are red and currently lowered because you are vulnerable. Your opponent's armor value will be calculated against your damage to yield a final value. You will be able to defeat your opponent, as the final damage value after armor will fall below 0. In close call situations, keep an eye on the numbers below your character to better avoid fatal mistakes. You barely survived, but you are alive, and with a long way ahead of you. Suddenly, a moaning heralds more zombies. The sound grows louder as an enormous horde comes shuffling onto the road. Your heart in your throat, you crouch low into the bushes. A horde is a vast cluster of zombies. They appear to be moving towards the position of Jack's camp. You have just a few days to prepare the location. You struggle not to lose all hope at the sight of the sea of shuffling death. The world of the Dead Age has become even more unforgiving. You have to warn Jack, and fast. It seems just a short while ago that you and your best friend Steven withstood the rise of the apocalypse. You had barricaded yourselves into a home. You endured the screams of the dwindling population and the moans of the infected, all the while scavenging for food and materials. There is a lot of reading in this game. Years of experience has taught you to plan ahead. You've also met other veterans of the apocalypse and found that there is safety in numbers. Jack, is that you? Steven, is everything okay? You look terrible. What took you? I was starting to worry the next time I saw you, I'd have to fend you off with a bat. Believe me, I don't want to have to be the one to put you down. Steven appears relieved. Jack was known as a hero of the New World. After all, it was he who found a way to put the virus in check, at least for a time. He had been a big help to you and Steven in the following years. Living together in a camp of independents, Steven was always welcome with independence. They made him feel at home. The mutation of my old infection is progressing very slowly. I'm doing well, given the circumstances. There are a lot of crows in the sky. We should go. Are you coming from the Independence? Sure thing. I just got back from Freedom City East. You remember it, right? You had some kind of disagreement with the Independents there. Look, I was sorry to hear that your infection is incurable, but I hear you've still got some years left in you. Say, have you seen Meanpooh? He made it out in time, but I have no idea where he is right now. Come on. The way to the camp is dangerous. Stay focused. 30 minutes pass and you pick your way carefully along winding dirt paths. The display to the upper left shows how much time remains. Once it expires, your group will be automatically returned to base. Okay, we can turn the analytics off. As you can see, it's doing pretty good. So, it's cool. Lots of FPS. This is not one of those games where we have to actually keep track of that. Country Road, Jack's Camp, Water, Undead. So do we need to go here or do we need to go here? Okay. Icons on the map let you see what you are most likely to find in an area. In this case, that thing is water. How's Trish doing? Does she still manage that bar? I could go for a cold drink right about now. It so happens that she is expecting us. Our new camp is a large old house that we've outfitted with some new furniture. Trish has been a big help. There are still a few munchers, and I'm out of ammunition, Jack. Well then, hit them with something. I'll cover you. We have different close-range weapons. This is a teachable moment. Which of us do you think will be more effective against zombies in thin clothing? I have no idea, man. So this one has heavy plating, but let's go ahead and get this one. I can't get it anyway. You did more damage than I did. That's because your target is armored. Bladed weapons are great against light protection. My double strike is more effective there. Against thicker armor, one single focus hit is more likely to do the trick. He's out of there. Out of my way, world. Let's take care of this next one. You can see it's carrying something heavy. We're not doing enough damage to this one. Those are armored undead soldiers. You may have noticed that close range attacks are pretty much useless against that kind of protection. This is why it's important to have a group with diverse skills. You can't expect to live long if you can't adapt. You leveled up and are able to learn new skills and increase your attributes. Go to your inventory. After increasing a single attribute 10 times, it will cost more points, so be cautious. After increasing a single attribute 10 times, it will cost more points, so be cautious not to spend your points too one-sided. Some powerful attributes have a fixed increase limit. Now increase your power in order to deal more damage with the grenades and traps. Power. A survivor must learn varying kinds of skills to make it out there. For starters, learn the Molotov cocktail skill. Is this it right here? Where's the Molotov cocktail? I don't see it anywhere. This looks like that's it. What's this? Before you can select the skill, you need to be in the ranged attack row. Ranged attacks require a certain distance. You'll notice a symbol for armor attached to the undead soldier's health bar when you target it. Use your Molotov cocktail. It would do fire damage over time and destroy that armor. The skill's description displays the distance needed dynamically. In this case, you can see in the bottom left that you need more distance to use the skill. Nice job, its armor is toast. Now we can attack it close range. So far so good. Let's see what this stuff is. Won't let me pick anything up here. We finally made it. Good to see you again, Steven. Your best friend Meanpooh should be here soon. We'll deal with the smugglers then. Go ahead and make yourself useful until then. Meet me at the bar when you're ready. You should also know how to use the radio, and we need to manage camp defense as well. We want our meeting with the smugglers to be secure. When in base, you can navigate between rooms. Let's start by choosing the bar. The bar. Okay, the bar. Hang on, you're not negotiating with the smugglers. Don't tell me this camp joined a faction. No, we're working alone. The independents are alright, but their leaders can't agree on anything. The US Army is very authoritative, so we tend to avoid them. That leaves the smugglers. Currently, our reputation with all three factions is neutral, but I'd like to change that and improve our standing with one of them. That will encourage them to sell us better armor, and we might be able to deal with their leaders directly. You have 3 quests available. Let's start with the crafting for beginners. Since you've run out of assault rifle ammunition, let me suggest that you can craft some more. In order to craft anything, you need to first learn how. To learn the trade blacksmithing, first choose skills. Here you'll find more skill categories. Next to combat skills, you may also learn trade skills or jobs, which are also very important for your survival. Trish, I don't want to be an inconvenience, but I really have no idea what all I can do here. Let's go over to the forge. Any base worth its salt has one, but in order to make better munitions, we'll have to upgrade it at some point. For now, let's just make some standard assault rifle ammunition. I have some materials you can use. Crafting an item requires raw materials and scrap, as well as an additional components depending on the crafting recipes. In this case, for shell casings, which I just gave you. All of these objects can be found in the surrounding area. Gather them when you can. We'd hate for the camp to run out. You'll need a lot of materials to make all the ammo you need. Upgrading this room later will enable you to craft higher quality ammunition, and starting at rank 3, you can ask an additional survivor to help you craft more and faster. I'll see you again later tonight. Good, you made some ammo. Always remember to make enough. Ranged weapons are usually much more effective than melee. We're not going out there in the evening, right? The shufflers outnumber us 4-1 when it gets dark. It really is dangerous after dark, unless you have something more pressing to do. Your time is better spent doing jobs around camp. I think it's time you learn more about gathering resources. Let's head to the comm room. When your resources run dry, comms is your only hope. I feel stronger. In comms, you can make radio contact with scouts, but only in areas you've already known. It isn't possible to revisit locations you've been to before unless you do it through comms. Using scouts costs a few bucks, but it's worth it. Pick something you want to particularly look for. In our base, we need more water. 3 locations will become available, most of which will contain water, while another spot will contain a random location, discovered by our scouts. It would be best to look for locations with water, okay? Since there is nothing left to do, let's rest until tomorrow. Good night. Steven, since all we did last night was jobs around camp, we are lower on resources. Jack and I can take care of ourselves, but every active member of camp will consume 1 unit of food per day. Always keep an eye on those. You don't want to run out. Hey Steven, good work with the radio. The scouts discovered an interesting new spot in the area we just passed through. There's water there, and this way you can keep a close eye on the camp's needs. Okay, I get that the radio is important to uncover new resources in old locations. A scout has also found an old junkyard. That's probably a great place for scrap and materials. Exactly right. You can seek out these new locations in the coming days. Now it's time to worry about our food situation. We're starting to run low. To find new resource spots, we need to explore new locations. Our first stop is a place a bit more dangerous than the dirt roads outside of Jack's camp. A place east of here called Forest Grave. It is a lot of reading in here. Oh, jeez. By the way, it's important to always keep an eye on how much water is being used. Water is rationed for the first 4 hours. Every member of the party drinks 1 unit. So the 2 of us have gone through 2 liters. Always account for how much water scavenging parties will use up. Without water, people start to dehydrate and lose health every half day. Believe me, that is something you want to avoid. Every type of area, like city, woods, mountains, desert, or plains, has its own resources. We'll very likely find something to eat here in the woods. A word of warning to any morons out there who think they can get away with looting in my territory. Here's something you can do to get on my good side. Smoke out the threat in Scenic Grave Forest, and I'll personally reward you with a few bucks and a kiss on the cheek. Standing, +3. Kira. At the bottom left, you will find the threat meter for your party's current location. When the threat level is orange, attacks will come more often. Explore the area further to eventually reduce the threat to yellow and make the area safer. That reminds me, we have a similar problem around Jack's camp. Trish will arrange the appropriate rewards. We can try to make as many areas as possible safe. Traveling to the lake. In fact, you found an opportunity to restock your rations almost immediately. Every survivor requires 1 unit of food per day and night, sometimes more if jobs are being performed. Man, look at the background. It looks really nice. Really, really nice. You come upon a part of the forest overgrown with berry bushes. Time to load up. Look out, Steven. Picking berries may seem like a small feat, but there is always a chance of being discovered. Jack moves over to the bushes and starts to pluck berries from them. Alright, what do we get? Seeds and food. I'm trying to take... Okay, let's take all. Alright. These bony rangers are as fast as living humans. As you may have seen, they are harder to hit from afar and resistant to Molotov cocktails. We should focus on hitting them from up close. Oh, and take special care with this one. He looks like he's got a few fights behind him already. What, that? The particles mark the Rager as an elite unit. It is more dangerous than a normal Rager, and will also yield greater rewards if defeated. Alright, moving in closer. Wish me luck. Whoa. Look out! The Rager is charging up for some larger attack. We only have a moment to react. You should take a defensive stance. Better safe than sorry. You see, the damage the Rager did was partially deflected. Defending against charged attacks is a solid tactic unless you absolutely need to kill your opponent quickly. The beast behind the Rager is preparing to launch a psychic attack. Fire, blood, poison, and psyche cause power damage. The hunter skill's combat readiness can be raised to protect against power attacks. Unfortunately, you don't have that particular skill. Your only option is to take out that Rager. The Rager is unsteady on its feet. After that attack, time for some payback. Game is pretty deep. Dear God. What a deafening, horrible noise. I can't stand it. When affected by fear, you will have no choice but to retreat to the back. If there is room, you will have to endure the fear and hold on for one round.